Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're not just reading the tea leaves, are we? We're getting stuck into the numbers, the really complex stuff.
Absolutely. We're looking at these mathematical models trying to predict, well, what often feels unpredictable, the Premier League.
We've got the full briefing here from Spectra AI's Gambler's Ruin project. It's the raw data, the probabilities, expected goals, the lot, for 3 massive games this weekend.
Our job, I suppose, is to be the human filter, to
Yeah.
stand between the spreadsheet and the actual pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
The AI gives us this blueprint, right? The ELO ratings, the likely outcomes. But we have to decide if those, cold calculations stack up against reality.
Things like a sudden injury crisis.
Or morale just dropping off a cliff. Or even like a howling wind across the pitch that the AI just doesn't feel. That's our angle.
Spot on. So the sources today are these deep statistical reports. We've got Aston Villa versus Bournemouth,
Always a lively one.
Everton versus Fulham,
Tricky fixture, that.
and the big one, Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester United. We're digging for that statistical edge, but crucially, asking if it's, well, real or just a number.
Right. Is it a sharp enough edge or just, fantasy cooked up by the machine?
Before we jump in, maybe just a quick refresher for anyone new listening. When we talk about ELO rating,
Yeah, good point. Think of it like a live power ranking for teams. It goes up, it goes down with every result, constantly shifting.
and no surprises at the top right now, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, they're all way up there. ELO's over 1620. Clear leaders.
Definitely. And the other big number you'll hear us talking about is XG, expected goals.
Crucial metric. It's not just how many shots is it, it's about the quality of the chances.
Exactly. If a team gets, say, 3.0 XG, the data reckons they should have scored 3 goals based on where those shots were taken from, how clear the chances were. It measures how dangerous you are in attack.
Potential. Offensive potential.
That's the word. But here's where I, immediately butt heads with the pure numbers. ELO, XG. They look back, or they predict based on past patterns.
Mm-hmm.
They don't react instantly, do they? They don't know the captain's just done his hamstring in training yesterday.
The unquantifiable factors.
They don't feel the nerves of a team who've lost 3 on the bounce. That's where we come in, layering that human insight, that context, onto the maths.
Well, I appreciate the healthy skepticism, but remember, it's not just one AI model talking here.
Oh yeah, the committee.
It's a whole committee of algorithms, often disagreeing. You've got the ANN, the artificial neural network, tends to be quite bullish, loves historical trends.
Right.
Then you've got models like XGBoost and LightGBM. They're more like the cautious accountants looking very closely at the current situation.
The checks and balances.
Exactly. Sometimes they agree, sometimes it's chaos. Let's see what the committee's verdict is on our first game. Aston Villa hosting Bournemouth, data says.
Goals. Right. Let's get into it. The supposed goal fest.
Okay, straight off, the data shows a pretty clear advantage for Villa. They're sitting 5th in the ELO table, rating strong, 1591.2.
Decent, yeah. And Bournemouth.
Bournemouth are 9th, respectable, 1569.9 ELO, so about a 21-point gap.
21 points. That's not insignificant, is it? Suggests a difference in quality, on paper at least.
The AI certainly thinks so. It gives Villa a heavy lean because of it.
Yeah, but look at Bournemouth lately. They've been tough, haven't they? Hard to beat. I'm just a bit wary of the AI writing them off too easily based purely on that EL gap. What are the actual win probabilities saying?
Okay, the unified ensemble model, that's the sort of consensus view from all the models combined, puts the home win for Villa at 46.78%.
Okay, less than 50%. Interesting.
The draw is actually quite high, 36.51%, and the away win for Bournemouth is way down at 16.71%.
Whoa, hold on. 36.51% for the draw. That's huge. That's more than 1 in 3 times this game ends level, according to the AI.
It is high, yeah. And the Monte Carlo simulations, running the game 10,000 times, they back up the overall picture. 47-15 Villa wins. But that draw percentage is definitely telling.
It screams caution, doesn't it?
Yeah.
My gut reaction to that isn't Villa rom home. It's more like, okay, Villa probably favorites, but Bournemouth have got a real chance of digging in and getting something. That draw number supports that feeling.
And that tension, that uncertainty, is reflected inside the AI's own internal debate.
The committee arguing again?
Pretty much. The ANN, the artificial neural network, remember? The bullish one. It's massively keen on Villa. Gives them a huge 57.17% chance of winning at home. It's clearly looking at Villa Park, their record there.
The historian of the group loves the past form.
Exactly. But then you look at the cautious accountants. Light GBM and XG boost, completely different story.
What do they say?
Light GBM pushes the draw probability up to a massive 43.76%, and XG boost isn't far behind, giving the draw 41.49%.
Wow. So one part says definite home win, two others say it's very likely a draw. That's quite a disagreement.
It is, but the overall consensus, when you average it all out, still just tips towards Villa winning.
Okay, let's park the result for a second, because the bit that really jumped out at me from the report, the bit that sounds almost ridiculous, is the expected goals.
Ah, yes. The XG figures are, well, they're pretty eye-watering for this one.
Go on then, hit me with it.
Aston Villa predicted XG of 3.25.
3.25.
Yep, compared to Bournemouth's 1.39 XG. So the AI isn't just suggesting a Villa win, it's predicting a potential hammering. 3, maybe 4 goals for Villa based on the quality of chances it expects them to create.
Right, 3.25 XG, that's where my analyst brain slams the brakes on.
Yeah.
Because then you look at the injury list, and this for me is the ultimate test. AI's depth analysis versus the actual need for specific key players.
Okay, let's list them. Villa are missing some important names. Yuri Tielemans, calf injury, Tyrone Mings, hamstring, and Emiliano Buendia and Andres Garcia, too.
Right. And Bournemouth.
Relatively okay. Just Tyler Adams out with a knock. Big difference.
Massive difference. Mings out, that's huge, mate. He's their defensive leader, the organizer back there. How can the AI predict such a dominant attacking display when the defense might be shaky?
Well, the argument is the XG focuses on attack.
But the other key one is Tielemans, missing from midfield. Where are these 3.25 expected goals coming from? He's the link man, isn't he? That quality pass from midfield into the final third. If he's not playing, surely the quality of chances created has to drop off.
The AI's counter-argument, I suppose, is that Villa's attacking depth, their forwards, their wingers, is just so strong that they'll create a sheer volume of good chances anyway. Maybe not always needing that perfect pass from deep. It's betting on relentless pressure volume over perhaps Tielemans' specific precision.
Okay, I can see the logic, sort of, betting on overwhelming them. But let's flip it. If Villa's attack is creating chances worth 3 goals, their defense, missing Mings, it's surely vulnerable enough to concede 1 or 2. That 1.39 XG for Bournemouth suddenly looks very achievable against a defense missing its main man.
So you're leaning towards that high draw probability we saw earlier, like a 2-2.
Exactly. That's why I think those conservative models, the light GBM and XG boost, were pushing the draw so hard.
Yeah.
They're seeing a potential slugfest, a high-scoring draw, not necessarily a clean 3-1 Villa win.
Okay, another factor to throw in, the weather. Match is on November 9th. Forecast says 56 degrees Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, bit of rain, and crucially, wind gusts up to 17 miles per hour.
Ah, the wind, 17 miles per hour. Right, the AI doesn't factor that in properly, does it?
It tries, but it's notoriously difficult.
A game with a predicted 3.25 XG usually implies flowing football, doesn't it? Accurate passes, crisp finishing. But a 17-mile-per-hour crosswind, that messes everything up. Long balls become a lottery, set pieces are harder to deliver accurately, even striking the ball cleanly from distance is affected.
So you think the wind acts as a suppressor. It deflates that big XG number.
I absolutely do. The data might be based on ideal conditions, but those winds could easily turn this into a scrappy physical battle. That might actually favor Bournemouth, letting them sit deep and defend, making it much harder for Villa to create those high-quality chances. Pushes the scoreline towards a 2-1, maybe even a 1-1, not the 3-1 or 4-1 the raw XG suggests. It's a definite reason to be cautious about the AI's headline number.
It's interesting, though, if you look at the bootstrapped Poisson prediction, that's the AI giving its range of likely goals, the confidence interval, or CI.
Yeah.
For Villa, the 95% CI is between 0 and 7 goals.
0 and 7, that's enormous.
And for Bournemouth, it's 0 to 4 goals. So the AI itself acknowledges huge volatility.
Yeah.
It's confident Villa win, but the exact scoreline, it admits that could swing wildly, maybe because of factors like that win.
So, no, something could throw the numbers off, even it still backs Villa overall.
Precisely. Look, based on the consensus, the ELO gap, I'm still sticking with the AI here. I think Villa win, but acknowledging your points about the defense and the win, I'll temper the XG. I'll go for a 3-2 Villa win. High scoring, bit messy.
Okay, fair enough. I'll concede the win just based on Villa's overall squad depth being better, but I'm telling you, that wind is going to make achieving 3.25 XG very, very difficult. I'm thinking more like 2-1. Still a Villa win, but tighter.
Right, let's move on. If Villa Bournemouth was all about potential attacking fireworks, our next one feels much tighter. Everton hosting Fulham at Goodison Park.
Yeah, this has got mid-table battle written all over it, hasn't it? Probably played at 100 miles an hour.
And tight is definitely the word looking at the ELO ratings. They are incredibly close.
Almost identical, aren't they?
Everton are 13th in the table, ELO 155.9. Fulham right behind them, 14th, ELO 145.46.8.
So what's that, 9 points difference? Barely anything.
Exactly. Less than 10 points between them. You look at that and think, okay, this screams draw.
Yeah, you'd think maybe 40% draw chance, pretty even split otherwise.
But interestingly, the AI is surprisingly confident about a home win. The unified ensemble gives Everton a 52.26% probability of winning.
52, despite the ELOs being so close.
Yep. The draw is down at 34.22%, and an away win for Fulham is only given a 13.52% chance. And the Monte Carlo runs back this up. 52-59 Everton wins out of 10,000 simulated matches. It really seems like the Goodison Park factor, that historical home advantage, is being weighted very heavily by the Spectra AI model here.
It must be. That maybe combined with the expected control. What are the XG figures?
Everton XG is predicted at 2.00. Fulham's XG is much lower, that's 1.06.
Okay, so the data sees Everton creating double the quality of chances. 2 decent chances leading to goals, Fulham maybe nicking 1. That makes more sense of the home win prediction.
And the betting metrics the model pulls out also suggest quite an open game, despite the close ELOs. Over 2.5 goals is predicted at 58.95%.
Right, so more likely than not to see 3 goals or more.
But here's the really key figure, I think. Both teams to score BTTF, the model predicts yes at 56.42%.
Ah, okay. Right, let's dig into that. Over 56% chance both teams score. The AI fancies Everton to win, but thinks it's more likely than not they'll concede a goal in the process.
Yes.
And my mind immediately jumps to the injury list again. I reckon that BTTS prediction is directly linked to who Everton have got missing at the back.
Go on. What are the specifics?
Everton are without 2 key defenders, aren't they? Jared Branthwaite's out with a hamstring injury, and Nathan Patterson has a foot problem.
And Fulham?
They're missing Anthony Robinson with a knee injury, which is a blow for them down the left, but Everton losing 2 from their back line, especially Branthwaite, who's been crucial for them.
So you're saying that 1.06 XG for Fulham, which looks quite low on paper,
Suddenly looks a lot more likely to be converted into an actual goal when the opposition defense is patched up. The AI is being clever here, I think. It sees Everton attacking well enough to get their 2 goals, 2.00 XG, but it's also recognizing that the compromised defense makes conceding likely, hence the high BTTS probability.
That's a really neat connection. Linking the specific personnel missing directly to that BTTS number, the machine identifying a tactical weakness caused by those absences. Spot on.
But, and there's always a but with these models.
Yeah.
Look at the specific score lines it predicts as most likely. This is where the AI seems to, well, hedge its bets.
One of the top scores.
The 2 most likely predicted score lines are 2-1 to Everton and 1-1, both sitting at an identical probability.
0.099.
Identical. So it literally can't split between a narrow home win and a score draw.
Exactly. And the next most likely are 2-0 and 1-0 to Everton, again, very close behind. It shows the model is confident Everton score around 2 and Fulham around 1. But it's really struggling to decide if Fulham actually convert that 1.06 XG into a goal, or if Everton's makeshift defense somehow holds firm. That inability to separate 2-1 and 1-1 tells you just how knife-edge this match is predicted to be.
And that internal conflict, that volatility, is even more stark when you look at the disagreement between the individual base models. This is the AI committee room in uproar.
Aha, okay. Who's shouting loudest? The artificial neural network, our resident enthusiast, remember? It is predicting a massive 73.22% chance of a home win for Everton.
73%. That's practically a guaranteed win in football terms. Why on earth is this so high when the ELOs are close and they have defensive injuries?
My guess? The ANN is probably massively overweighting Everton's historical record at Goodison against teams around them in the table. It's seeing that strong home pattern from the past and maybe ignoring the specific issues like the injuries right now. Too much emphasis on the Goodison Fortresses narrative, perhaps.
Right, stuck in the past. So who's arguing the other way?
That would be XG Boost, the cautious one. It predicts a 53.12% chance of a draw.
53% for draw. That's an incredible difference from the NN's 73% for a home win. Polar opposites.
It's a colossal gap. The XG Boost model is likely picking up much more on the immediate factors, those defensive injuries, maybe some recent away form from Fulham that the AN is overlooking. The committee is fundamentally split. Does the home advantage trump the current defensive weakness or not?
Fascinating. So, no help from the weather this time.
No, conditions look pretty good. Mostly cloudy, about 57 degrees, not much wind, so no excuses there. It really boils down to Everton's attack versus their potentially vulnerable defense.
Okay. Where are you landing on this one, then?
I'm going to trust the unified ensemble, the overall average, but I'm leaning heavily on that BTTS prediction. I think Everton just edge it, but they concede. I'm going 2-1 Everton.
Hmm. You know, that 53% draw prediction from XG Boost is really sticking in my mind. It feels significant. Given the defensive gaps for Everton, I think Fulham definitely score. But can Everton get two past them? I'm not so sure. I'm going to sit on the fence slightly and go for the other top prediction. 1-1, splitting the points.
Okay, third and final match. And this is the one where the AI really sticks its neck out, predicting something that goes against the grain a bit. Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester United.
Yeah, this is a big one. On paper, you think tight, fierce rivalry probably favors Spurs at home usually.
Usually, yes, but the Spectra AI data paints a picture of, well, potential collapse for the home side.
And this, for me, is where the AI really shows its value. It's not just predicting a random upset. It's looking at the underlying situation and identifying a genuine crisis, isn't it?
Let's look at the ELOs first. It's close again, but slightly favors United this time. Man Ud are at 1557.7 ELO, just ahead of Spurs on 1545.1, both sort of mid-table in ELO terms this season.
Okay, so a slight edge to United, but nothing dramatic.
Nothing dramatic in the ELO, no. But the outcome probabilities. This is the AI's most confident away win prediction across all the games we've looked at.
Really, more confident than Villa winning at home.
In terms of favoring the non-home side, yes. The away win probability for Manchester United is the highest outcome at 39.09%.
39%.
The draw is next at 34.40%. And the home win for Spurs, it's lagging way behind at just 26.51%.
Wow, only 26% chance for Spurs to win at home? That's low.
It is, and the Monte Carlo runs confirm it. 3,445 simulated wins for United compared to only 2,701 for Spurs. The AI is strongly betting against the home team here.
And I bet the XG figures tell a similar story.
Absolutely ruthless. The data heavily favors United's attack. Predicted XG for Man Ud is 2.65.
Okay, strong. And Spurs?
Spurs XG just 1.37.
1.37. For a home game against United, that's incredibly low. That tells you immediately the AI thinks Spurs are going to really struggle to create anything meaningful.
It suggests almost a 2-goal difference in the quality of chances expected between the sides. So what's driving this? Why is the AI so down on Spurs at home?
It's chaos, isn't it? It's the human factor, but in a negative way this time. It's the injury crisis at Tottenham. This isn't just validating the AI's prediction. I think it's actually causing the AI's pessimistic outlook. The machine is quantifying the impact of losing your key players, especially your creative ones. You got to read out the list. It's brutal.
It really is. Okay, confirmed out for Spurs. Dejan Kulusevski, knee injury. James Maddison, also knee. Those two alone.
Wow. Your primary creators. Gone.
Then there's Radu Dragusin, knee. Kota Takai, foot. Yves Bissouma, knock. Dominic Solanke, ankle. Lucas Bergvall, head injury. Ben Davies, hamstring. And Archie Gray, calf.
9 players. 9 first-team squad players out. And look at the quality in that list. Madison and Kulusevski, as you said, provide so much of their spark, their assists, their link-up play. The AI predicting just 1.37 XG is basically the machine saying, look, the players they do have available simply cannot make up for losing those 2 elite attackers. Yeah. The creativity is gone.
And you compare that to United's list.
Who are they missing?
Yeah.
Just Lisandro Martinez, right, with his knee issue.
That's it. 1 player versus 9. The difference in squad health is just staggering. It's not really predicting an upset in the classic sense. The AI is simply recognizing that one team is nearly at full strength and the other is decimated.
Exactly. It's modeling the loss of goals, the loss of assists, the tactical disruption that inevitably follows when you lose that many key players. And that 2.65 XG for United, that's built on the assumption that a depleted Spurs midfield and defense simply won't be able to cope with United's attack.
The Poisson model, the one giving the range of goals, backs this up too. It confirms that high United tally. Average prediction is 2.66 goals for United, but the 95% confidence interval stretches all the way up to 6 goals.
So the AI sees a real possibility of this being a heavy defeat for Spurs if things unravel, like a 4-0 or 5-1.
The potential is there in the numbers, yes. The most likely specific scorelines it predicts are 2-1 and 3-1, both pointing clearly to a United win.
Okay, so the committee must be pretty united on this one, surely, given the injury situation.
Not quite unanimous, but very, very heavily skewed towards United. The random forest RF model gives United a 45.78% chance of winning away.
Strong.
And the artificial neural network, ANN, the bullish one, it's giving United a massive 55.41% chance of an away win.
Wow. When even the ANN, which normally loves home advantage, turns so strongly against the home side, the underlying data must be overwhelming.
It's a huge signal, but there's always one, isn't there?
Go on, let me guess. Naive Bayes.
You got it. The naive Bayes model is the big outlier here. It's predicting 49.88% chance of a home win for Spurs.
Nearly 50%. It thinks Spurs are favorites. Despite 9 injuries. Despite the terrible XG. How?
Well, naive Bayes is the simplest model, isn't it? It works on very broad historical patterns. It basically sees Tottenham playing at home against Manchester United, and its programming, based on decades of data, says home team usually has a significant advantage in this type of fixture.
So it's completely ignoring the current context, the injuries that make this specific match totally different from the historical average.
Exactly. It's applying a general rule without accounting for the massive specific crisis affecting Spurs right now. It's the model failing because it lacks nuance in this extreme situation.
The old-timers sticking to tradition, even when the evidence screams otherwise. Fascinating.
It really highlights the limitations of simpler models when faced with unusual circumstances. One last thing. The weather. Mostly cloudy, 59 degrees, maybe a shower in spots.
A shower. Could make the pitch a bit slick, maybe a bit heavy.
Possibly. And if it does, you'd think that might favor the team that's more physically intact, the team with fewer injury concerns and maybe a stronger bench, which is Manchester United.
Yeah, good point. Any little factor like that probably tips it slightly more towards the fitter squad. Look, for me, this is the AI's most convincing call of the week. It's not based on some abstract probability theory. It's rooted in the hard reality of that devastating injury list. The United win this. And I think, given the state of Spurs, they win it fairly comfortably. I'm going 3-1 United.
I have to agree. The sheer scale of the injury crisis at Spurs provides such strong human-level confirmation for the AI's negative numbers. It's hard to see any other outcome. 3-1 United sounds about right. Hashtag V, synthesis, and final takeaways. Right then, let's try and pull the threads together from those 3 matches. Looking across Villa Bournemouth, Everton Fulham, and Spurs United, what were the main themes or patterns coming out of the Spectra AI data from the Gambler's Ruin project this week?
Well, the big one, I think, was the AI's confidence in getting a result. In all 3 games, the model strongly predicted either a home win or an away win.
No high-confidence draws anywhere.
Not in the main unified ensemble prediction, no. The highest probability was always assigned to one team winning. The algorithms seem pretty certain that points will be definitively won and lost this weekend, not shared around too much.
Okay. And drilling down into the specifics.
Villa versus Bournemouth was flagged as the potential goal fest, wasn't it? That huge 3.25 XG for Villa really stood out, even if we debated how achievable it was.
Yeah, the blowout potential. Then Everton-Fulham was the tightest one, almost a coin flip between a narrow win and a draw, according to the scorelines.
But with that really high probability, 56% of both teams scoring, the AI clearly linking Everton's attacking threat with their defensive frailties due to injury.
And finally, Spurs versus Man United. That felt like the clearest case study.
Absolutely. The injury crisis at Spurs was so severe that it basically forced the AI to make its most confident away prediction, completely overriding the usual home advantage factor. We saw how the simpler naive Bayes model struggled with that, but the more complex models recognized the reality of this situation.
So weighing it all up, the human element versus the algorithm, did we generally find the eye test and the injury news validated what the AI was predicting? Or were there big clashes?
I think in the Spurs game, the human element, the catastrophic injury list, completely validated, even maybe amplified, the AI's prediction. That 39% away win felt almost conservative once you saw who was missing.
Agreed on that one.
Where we had more friction, I suppose, was the Villa game. We challenged how Villa could realistically hit 3.25 XG without Tielemans, and we questioned if the wind might scupper those attacking plans. So we were questioning the mechanism for Villa's predicted dominance, rather than the outcome itself. For Spurs, the mechanism of defeat seemed unavoidable because of the injuries.
And that really shows the value of this kind of analysis, doesn't it? The AI, with its huge data sets, its XG calculations, its 10,000 Monte Carlo simulations, gives you this incredibly strong objective baseline.
Yeah, a starting point.
We might argue about whether Villa score 3 goals or maybe only 2, But the overwhelming weight of data pointing to a Villa win is hard to ignore. It forces you away from just pure gut feeling or recent results.
It definitely forces a level of objectivity. Yeah, you can't just dismiss the numbers. But this leads nicely into a final thought, something for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. It's about that volatility we mentioned, the uncertainty within the AI's confidence.
Okay, let's get slightly technical, but keep it straightforward.
We talked about those bootstrap Poisson predictions, right? The ones giving the 95% confidence interval the likely range of goals.
Yeah, Villa was 0 to 7 goals, United was 0 to 6. Huge ranges.
Exactly. The AI saying, I'm pretty sure TMA wins, but the final score could be anything from 1-0 to, well, 6-1. It's confident in the winner, but admits the scoreline itself is highly variable.
So, does the model truly grasp how wildly a game can swing, even if it predicts the winner correctly? The potential for a sudden goal glut or a surprising defensive shutdown?
Precisely. And here's the question for you listening. Which of the scenarios we discussed represents the bigger risk or reward? Looking at it through the data's lens, is a Villa's situation, where the AI predicts a massive 3.25 SG, but achieving it seems dependent on their attack clicking perfectly, despite missing a key midfielder like Tielemans and maybe battling the wind.
So, betting on attacking brilliance overcoming obstacles.
Or is the bigger gamble the Spurs match, where the AI's prediction relies almost entirely on the severity of that entry list, causing an inevitable defeat for Spurs? Is that prediction more fragile or more certain?
It's like choosing between betting on tactical execution against the odds, Villa, or betting on structural weakness leading to almost certain failure, Spurs. Which one feels more vulnerable to a classic football upset where the human element defies the numbers?
Something to think about when you're watching the games unfold this weekend. Hashtag VLIs.
And that wraps up our deep dive into the Gambler's Ruin Project data for this week's Premier League fixtures. A huge thank you for joining us as we wrestled with the ELO ratings, the XG predictions, and, of course, the massive impact of those injury reports.
Yeah, fascinating stuff as always. Just remember, folks, this is all about understanding the probabilities, the statistical likelihoods. It's information for knowledge, for fun, for debate. It's definitely not financial advice.
Absolutely not. Treat the AI's predictions with the respect that data deserves, but never, ever forget the players themselves. Bring the magic, the unpredictability, the chaos sometimes. Nothing's ever truly guaranteed on the pitch.
Spot on. Enjoy the football.
Indeed. We'll be back next time for another deep dive into the numbers.